When time first began, the Eternal gave life to powerful beings of light, the Dragonkin. But as misfortune would have it, the power given to these creatures awoke in them only a boundless pride and an inexhaustible thirst for dominion. Shaken by this betrayal, the Eternal banished them to the deepest abyss of Dracomundus. It was there, in the depths of the earth, that they twisted into the monstrosities that we know today as dragons. Alas, possessed more than ever by hate and vanity, the Banished refused to admit themselves defeated. Through their voices, they persisted in corrupting humanity. Through their blood, they defiled the land we call our home. From that moment on, mankind would live in fear. Fear that one of the Dragon Lords, the most powerful of the Banished, would one day return to the surface. With the support of his Dragonkin, Saw Ichnog succeeded in escaping from his subterranean prison. And brave souls, guided by the light, rose up and vowed to push him back. Soldiers of the Order, righteous and faithful to the Eternal, who suffered body and soul after coming into contact with draconic corruption. Rare were those who remained impervious to the depraved whispers of the dragons on the outskirts of this gaping breach. One such person was Godefroy of Clerval, Grand Knight of the Order of the Eternal. The voice of the Dragon Lord blighted people's spirits and petrified their bodies, instilling terror and madness into those who heard it. Never before had a breach so vast been rent between the two worlds. It was here, at this wound between worlds, that the corruption was most potent. One by one, haunted by the whispers from below, the people succumbed to madness. Draconic blood sullied the earth and corrupted the creatures that trod upon it. Pitiful in their wretchedness and too weak to resist the command of their new masters, they drank the blood of the dragon and gave in to depravity. Thus enslaved, they were twisted into ghastly monsters, mockeries, Dragonkin. Men, women, children, animals, for as many slaves as there were devoted to their cruel masters, just as many grotesque monsters blindly obeyed any order given to them by their Dragon Lord. Only the most righteous of souls, guided and supported by the Eternal, were able to resist the corrupting call that led the living to damnation. These righteous few bore the feeble flame of man through the darkest shadow, and though it flickered, it would not be extinguished. Filled with these fleeting embers of hope, a few brave souls founded an alliance to carve the first breach into draconic defenses. Here, the Dragonkin's power was strong. It fused our world with that of the Banished. Godefroy of Clairval heroically broke through and shattered their defense barriers. This act of bravery, a feat of the righteous alliance of men, allowed me to lend aid to the Knights of the Order of the Eternal. Me, Almantia, Grand Oracle of Pytho Durkan, Dragon Blood, a human altered but not consumed by the draconic blood that flows through my veins. My sisters and I have powers given to us by the dragon, but our souls remain our own. Neither dragonkin nor entirely human, and afforded extraordinary abilities by our forebearers. By those who drank the blood of the only banished dragon to have ever repented before the Eternal.
To catch my breath.
These few drops of draconic blood connected our thoughts to those of the dragons. Struck by fleeting visions, we saw glimpses into their deeds, and understanding of the feelings that drove them. With that understanding came a vulnerability. We soon learned that we were at the mercy of their whispers. The voices threatened to consume us, with no hope of salvation. But the formidable link that connected us to the dragons had also awakened something within us. We lived strong in the certainty that the Eternal had pardoned us for the draconic corruption in our veins. Our civilization fell alongside the blue dragon Pythodurcan, forcing us to live amongst men in the city of the Order of the Eternal.
I have no energy left. My strength fails me.
Closer to the breach made by Sir Ichnog, Godefroy, fighting fire with fire, confronted the draconic hordes. I battled by his side, but my strategy was less direct. My draconic power allowed me to open up a passageway for the men of Nurogard, all of them prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice to save what remained of humanity. Once this invisible barrier had been breached, they knew that their lives would hang by mere threads. But these warriors from the north cared little for the uncertainties of our plan. A hero's death in the heat of battle with their enemy was the greatest honor that could befall them. Led by the pale dragon blood Harold Truelson, the barbarian fleet had but one objective: to lure the enemy into the open sea and leave the path to the breach vulnerable. If a single vessel reached the coast, then this sacrifice would not have been for naught. Harald Truelson reached the hostile shore and avenged those fallen from the Toriel clan. The barbarians of Nuragard feared neither pain nor death, and they welcomed violence as they might an old and familiar friend. Truelson knew this friend better than most. His existence thus far had been one of suffering, of hardening his resolve, and of preparing to endure the worst of torments, without losing the one thing of value every warrior of his clan held dear: his soul. While the Knights of the Order of the Eternal had always been forbidden from making use of dragon's blood, the warriors from the north, staying true to their values, had taken this risk. A select few, highly trained clansmen, risking their lives in the process, had successfully imbibed the pale dragon's blood without succumbing to the corrupting voices. Among them was Truelson. To become a dragon blood barbarian, he paid the ultimate price and cast away a portion of his humanity. In exchange, he received draconic powers that he put to use for the Toriel clan, the Eternal, and humanity at large. And even if all others, from Montesky to Nuragard, recognized the courage and sacrifice of these brave warriors, there was not one that did not also regard them with sincere disgust. While there could be no doubt of their loyalty to Toriel, defender of the Eternal, their bodies defiled by the dragon as they were,